Okay. Do. Waiting on 5:30. I'm gonna go ahead and get this party started. Okay, my clock says it's 5:30. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, and today we are going to be talking about superiority complex, which is the opposite of yesterday's live, which was inferiority complex. Before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and inhale and exhale 3 times just to let the mind and the body know we're getting ready to learn something. So go ahead on your own. Today is my 467th day live. I started on TikTok 466 days ago. And I am now been on YouTube since January 19th. So we're in February something. February 15th is the day that we are in. So almost a month here on YouTube. I like being on YouTube more now. Originally, it was a little bit difficult, but because the lives can stay here, so in case you miss a live, you could just go back. I'm also able to now refer people to the actual live, and I even get to make highlights that last up to 5 minutes. So those are some of the benefits. And one of the things that I don't like is I can't mirror, so you can't see my brain shirt, but that's the cost of doing business, and you can't do poll questions ahead of time to have them ready. But there's pros and cons to everything that you do, and that's the point. So today we're going to be talking about superiority complex, and some of this information is from Very Well Mind. From there, we're going to go ahead and go into cognitive fitness, where we will do some cognitive activities because your brain needs a workout. So you need to learn something, and then you need to do something so that you increase the executive function in your brain, your frontal lobe, because that's where all the magic happens. So some things that I will discuss today is superiority complex. I will briefly touch on narcissism to just explain the difference. I'm not a psychologist or a psychotherapist. If you feel like you have narcissism, you need to go seek medical attention. I am not here to provide that for you. All information that I provide is information purposes, and it is used to enhance and advance the principles of real leadership and the theory of personal accountability as it relates to you holding yourself personally accountable on the daily basis. With that being said, let's get this party started. So superiority complex, what is it? It is a complex. It's when someone acts better than others to escape feelings of insecurity. When someone acts better than others to escape feelings of insecurity. So that's it in a nutshell. Do you act better than others so that you don't have to address your own insecurities? If that is you, stick around. Because you can find out that ain't how it has to be. So that is superiority complex, and when we get to it, I will, like I said, briefly touch on narcissistic behavior because that's not what I am addressing today. What are the characteristics of superiority complex? First of all, you make exaggerated claims of one's accomplishments and abilities. So you make exaggerated claims. So instead of just saying this is what happens, good morning, Linda, instead of just addressing what happens, instead of saying this is what happened, you exaggerate it. So let's say you won a state championship in high school in a sport, doesn't matter what sport it is. You then exaggerate and say, not only did we win the state championship, but I scored all the points. I got MVP, and I did it 5 times in a row, and nobody else ever in the history of the school has ever been able to capitalize off my points. I set the world record, the national record, the global record, the galaxy record, instead of just saying I played on a team that won the national championship. So that's one example. Next is constantly comparing yourself to others. When you are comparing yourself to others, you need to feel superior to them. And as I have mentioned on previous lives, it's this. Competition is competition. So the Olympics, when everybody is swimming, when everybody is playing basketball, when everybody is skateboarding and snowboarding and ice skating and everything else and archery and all the things that are in the summer and the winter Olympics, That's when you start comparing yourself to other people. For those of us who are perimenopausal and we go, "Ooh, I had a hot flash." We know exactly what's happening. That's the comparison. But when you say, "Well, I want to state championship in track and you want to state championship in basketball, so I'm better than you." They're not the same sport. So you can both say you're state champions from your state, but it has to be apples to apples, literally Granny Smiths to Granny Smiths or max to max, okay? So when you start comparing yourself to other people and it has nothing to do with it, anything that is the same, then you are looking to feel superior. You can say, "Well, when I was 22, I made $1 million." Okay, but 999,000 of it was given to you. So you just added 1,000 to it and now you want to brag. Not the same thing. So constantly comparing yourself with others. The next one is overcompensating for real or imagined inadequacies. So you're overcompensating for your inadequacies. So you can say, "Yeah, I might not be able to spell, but I'm sitting on 17 million stacks, baby. So now what?" Okay, but reading and spelling, reading, writing, and arithmetic is important no matter who you are and what status you're at. So you overinflate this thing that you're doing that you feel is grand. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it's all right for me to be 200 pounds overweight because I got plenty of money. No, it's not. So, most of the people that have a lot of money, everything else is irrelevant because you got a lot of money. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I might treat people like shit, but I'm a billionaire. No, 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 no. You can't do that. You got to fix you first. You got to fix you first. You got to fix you first. Give me 1 second. We have someone who doesn't belong here. So let's go ahead and remove them this morning. Okay. The next one is disregarding others' opinions or contributions and placing excessive value on your own. So being dismissive of anything else that anybody else has accomplished and then saying that yours is the best. We'll use a family dinner. Let's say someone bakes the best macaroni and cheese. And so everybody else has brought the all of the meats if you partake in that and everything else. And the person that's making the macaroni, "Well, it wouldn't be good without my macaroni and cheese. It wouldn't be good without my macaroni and cheese." Yeah, but did you taste the macaroni and cheese? I mean, that chicken parmesan is okay, but did you taste the macaroni and cheese? Because I put 5 cheeses in my macaroni and cheese. Yes, that's what I did. And I always say the person that brought coffee to the networking meeting and set it up, went to Einstein Bros, Starbucks, wherever, brought the coffee, and now they want to talk about what they spearhead. Yeah, but the coffee. I know y'all talked about y'all had a bunch of action items when you left, but that coffee. I see what when y'all got tired, what did y'all go do? You went to the back of the room and you got that coffee. See, that coffee saved the day. That's how y'all got all those ideas and made all that money. If I hadn't bought coffee to that offsite, well, nobody gonna have no ideas because that caffeine is what did it. Okay. The next one is overreacting to situations that dig deep into their insecurities. So if you have I'll use my sister as an example. Well, I talked about it yesterday, and when she got her competent communicator with Toastmaster, every time someone got up, good morning, Regina, every time someone got up to review her speech, which is part of Toastmaster's protocol, she would come home and call me complaining about anything they said. Now, the whole point of Toastmasters is for you to improve. It's communication and leadership. So they will talk about your speech. They have to evaluate your speech and do what's called PNP, positive, negative, positive. So they will give you a positive, something for you to work on, and then something for you that you did well. It's also called the sandwich approach. My sister, if they said you spoke too fast during the introduction of your speech, I would have to hear about it for an hour. And she would go on and on and on about how this is an important speech and everything that she did. And what really happened was my sister can't take performance focused feedback. She hears it as constructive criticism when the person was telling her, slow down. I talk about Leon Lato, who taught me how to pause. He evaluated me multiple times when I was in Bon Appetit, and he would tell me, okay, your pause is getting better. And now I can, for effect. And so they call it the pregnant pause. And cry. She'd cry too. Thank you. Yes. So grown self would cry too about it. And it would be something minor. Like they would say, you didn't plant your feet and you didn't block. So there's this blocking. So you stand, you convey a point, you walk to the center of the room, you convey another point, you walk to the left or the right, the opposite side, and block again. They would tell her she need to work on her blocking. and we'd have to hear about that forever. So overreacting to something that's deeply insecure. So instead of taking that performance focused feedback that was actually, you could look at the manual and see what needed to be done, she would then blow it completely out of proportion. The next one is dismissing, bullying, or putting others down who may be better at something than you are. So if you play a game and they lose, they'll throw the cards, take the ball and go home. That's what we used to say back in the day on the playground. If you played at somebody's house and they didn't like how you were playing, they would get mad and tell you had to leave because you beat them at a game. And then engaging only in situations where they feel like they're ahead or that they're winning. So they're only going to participate if they know that they can win. If they believe that they're going to lose, then they will not participate, because the last thing they want to do is look bad, look like a failure, look like a loser. It's not going to happen. And so, for example, here's the example. Somebody with a superiority complex may play a game, and if they're winning, but if they think that if they start losing, then they'll say, "Oh, this is a stupid game. I don't like this game. This is dumb anyway," to make them feel better. They may try to shut down competition, throw shade at the winners, or overreact to losing because it triggers their insecurity and makes them feel stupid. So someone with a superiority complex is never, ever, ever going to put themselves in a position where they can look uninformed, where they can look like they're not technically competent. And so their circle of what they're going to do makes them, it's extremely small, because the last thing they want to do is not be able to be the big fish in the small pond. They are not about to go jump in the ocean. They are not about to do anything outside of their zip code, which I call zip code-itis, because in doing that, it's going to make them not be superior. So at no point will they ever be able to have a beginner's brain, be a novice, not understand something, and then learn it. They're going to get to the thing that they know how to do well and have a very small circle of people that thinks that they are so awesome and amazing, and never, ever, ever will they sit somewhere and say, I don't know, and I'm not willing to go find out. Now, the effects of a superiority complex is this. They have low self-worth. So they're internally, the person may focus excessively on their flaws and feel like they're less worthwhile as a human being. But overtly, they may project an air of being better than others in order to mask their sense of inferiority. So they will show up. That whole "the emperor has no clothes on," and no matter what, you're not going to see them cry. My sister used to tell me, and apologize when you're wrong is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. She would tell me, no matter what's happening, you never apologize. You don't apologize. You don't never admit that you're wrong. And if any of you who've ever gotten an email from me and I say, please let me know if you have any questions, she was like, don't say please to people. Don't put that on the email. I'm like, I can say, please let me know if you have any questions. That's not. So any sign of weakness, vulnerability, no, we're not doing that. You will never, ever see that publicly displayed at all. So they're acting like they're all big bag and tough, and then behind the scenes, nail biting, everything is so insecure that it used to take us anyway. I don't even have to belabor on that point. Relationship difficulties. So they may have a hard time maintaining relationships, except maybe with people who are equally insecure. So if they have relationships, they chickens of a feather flock together. So at no point are they going to put themselves in a room with people who are more accomplished than them, who have more than them. Sounds like she is the poster child for this concept. Potentially, yes. And we all potentially may know somebody, work with somebody, had this experience with somebody before. But at no point will they ever be in a room where it can be perceived that they don't have it together, that they're not the baddest mofo in the room. It's not going to happen. No matter what, they're going to make sure that they stay where they are revered. Also, career problems. So the person may have career problems if they bluff or fake their way into positions that they aren't qualified for. So that's what I say. You don't fluffify your resume and your credentials, and then you get into the position and now you don't know what to do. I've been on the receiving end of that, especially when I worked at Frito-Lay. It's kind of hard to lie in the military. They will work that out of you by the time you get through basic training at AIT. Now you might get lazy and not get promoted and then get kicked out, but it's much harder to mask that than when you are in a job, because you can, especially now, you can use AI and all kind of things to kind of cheat chat GTP to get your information. But when the stuff hits the fan, who are you when it's time to actually innovate? If you say you innovated all these things at your previous employer and then you get here and you can't put one idea together, that's going to be a problem. And TikTok has those videos where people say loud on resume so you can speak Spanish, and now they're handing you all these things in Spanish, and you just keep saying them. ¿Por qué? Muy bueno. Sí? Yeah. Nah. Getting it all mixed up. Empanada. Oui. Throwing anything out there. And on some level, they recognize that they're not qualified, and so they feel extremely anxious about it. So now every time you're around them, they're kind of tense and you don't know why. And it's because they're just like, man, one day they might find out that I don't know how to do any of this. It's like Suits when the gentleman said he passed the bar exam and he didn't. I forgot if he passed the bar exam, but he didn't go to law school, one of them, because I didn't really watch it. I know that he wasn't a lawyer. And so help me out if you watched Suits and he was unqualified for the position. And we know a lot of people who are in positions that they're unqualified for, or I won't say we know a lot. He did neither. Thank you, Nola, for that. So the point is that from a career perspective, don't lie about your credentials. And I often have these conversations with my daughter that I will say, he did attend Harvard but did not finish. That's true for a lot of people. So I will often ask her, do people think, because people, when you present yourself as a thought leader or expert, whatever, sometimes you lie about your credentials. So I would ask my daughter, will people think that I was in the military? Like, how will they know that I was who I said I was? Like, some people will say they served in the military. I'm disciplined because I was in the military. And I'll say, oh, okay, cool. What was your MOS? And they'll say what it is. And I'll say, well, what was your rank? Well, I was an E4. I was an E3. I did my 2 years, and then don't and no disrespect to people that did 2 years. I'm not saying that, but do not make that seem like you had this amazing decision-making process. The most at 2 years that you will get is you will be a team leader, and that may or may not give you what you're currently saying to try to attach. Yeah, served at the 101st Airborne Air Assault, Fort Campbell. And then I start having conversations with them at that level, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that's not the level that you were at. Okay, cool. And there's nothing wrong with those levels. I was a private first class, like I said, and I was in the reserves during my senior year of high school, earned my ROTC scholarship. So then I went to college on an ROTC scholarship, and then went in the military as a second lieutenant. So that's my story. But my point is that I'm asking her, and then I'll say, well, will people think that I'm lying about my time at Frito-Lay? And the answer is no, because just ask me some questions about the supply chain. I will tell you. And if I don't know, I will say I don't know. And I will come back. People have asked me questions. Regina, you asked me a question. I forgot what it was about. You had a conversation with a gentleman, and I came back the next day and talked about it. I believe it was attached to the amygdala. So if I don't know, I don't know. I've been studying the brain diligently since October 1st of 2024. So if there is something that I don't know, and you have more information than me, I'm going to take that information in, because be technically competent is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And I have no problem with getting more advanced and more proven research on what it is that I'm working on. So again, just be who you are and maintain the technical competence. I have a Dr. Donna quote that says, when you skip the line, you leave the skills behind. So you can go ahead and Quizlet your way through life. You can do that. You can sycophant, brown nose, and apple polish and ass kiss your way all the way to the top. But at some point, rent is going to be, the pineal gland. Yes. So rent will be due, and someone somewhere is going to expect you to have that information. They are. So if I say I know how to do push-ups from when I was in the Army, and then you say, well, can you look at my push-up form and tell me how to do push-ups? And I can't tell you if you don't break the plane with your shoulder, if you got your butt up in your air. The key is to have your core tight. If I say I'm not, I remember one time we were at the Steve Harvey had his annual whatever event it is. It was here in Las Vegas. And one of the things, they had a recruiter there for the Marines, and they had the pole there to do the flexed arm hang. And I had been telling my daughter that I could do the flexed arm hang. I held the school record for it many moons ago. And so, bam, there's a pull-up bar. Let's see you do the flexed arm hang. And everybody was like, whoa, okay. She was telling the truth. She actually could do the flexed arm hang. And so that's that. But again, because there are so many people philosophizing their existence that you see it, and it's like, well, let me make sure that I am telling the truth and that I am who I say I am, and I'm not who I'm not saying that I am. Do not overinflate your value. Go ahead and get the real work done. And if you don't, then don't say you have. Because for me, I've learned how to do a lot. There are plenty of things that I still need to learn, but I best it so that when someone comes behind me, if someone says, hey, I want to be a distinguished Toastmaster, how do you do it? I would then, what's the timeline? You skip the timeline. What timeline, Regina? Oh, what's the line? Oh, when you skip the line, you leave the skills behind. When you skip the line, you leave the skills behind. That's a Dr. Donna quote. Got it. Okay. So I lost my train of thought. We'll move on. I'll come back to it. If it was important enough, I'll remember it. So what are the causes of superiority complex? Everything goes back to childhood. We are all just walking around like big kids. We got our shadow and we're taking it around with us. So your childhood upbringing is the reason why you may or may not have superiority complex. So children who were overly pampered when they were young may have gotten used to having everything handed to them and have yet to have the chance to apply themselves and build their confidence and capabilities. Handed to them. Everything handed to them. That's the difference between my sister and I. They handed her everything. And I must do this disclaimer. I did have an older brother who died of crib death after 10 days of being born. So my sister was second, and they were just making sure she got everything because they lost that first baby. But she messed up so much that by the time I got to them ages, they're like, nah, son, we ain't giving you nothing. You gonna be over here starving. She messed it up. She messed up cars. So by the time it was time for me to have a car, like, she messed up the cars. She was out all willy-nilly in the street. You got a curfew. So it was the exact opposite. They tripled down on me, put me under lock and key. And this one went and roamed free. So yeah, pampered, and she would say, oh, she got everything. I'm like, girl, please, you got more chances. You got like 15 lives. You 2 cats walking around this mug. Yes, Linda, that is correct. So your childhood, if you got pampered and you got everything handed to you and you didn't have to fix anything, you came home and mommy and daddy said, oh, you got the boo-boo on your arm, Jimmy, it's okay, mommy loves you, we'll get you. Some generation is called the trophy generation. It's not my generation. They didn't give us nothing but a hard time, a hard road to hoe, and a short time to get there. But when you give them everything, you end up having a superiority complex. Then, because they were giving everything, they feel entitled and think the world revolves around them. They feel entitled and think that the world revolves around them because it did when they were growing up. And now they don't know that the world doesn't revolve around them. It's on axis and it goes and stays in the solar system. Okay, so when they go out into the world and interact with others who are more capable than them, they feel inferior because they were told you are superior, you is great, you is kind, you is awesome, you is number one. And now they get in the real world and they find out, no, I'm isn't. I'm is not number one. I'm not. I'm not the apple of everybody's eye. And this macaroni necklace actually does suck. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm not going to pay attention to this. So what do? Rather than learn to cooperate with others and adjust and develop a superior mindset complex, instead is the way to avoid coping with reality. And so instead of saying, yeah, I lied about my skills. I'm not doing great. I can't speak Spanish. No hablo español. Oh, no. Sprechen Sie Deutsch nicht sehr so gut. Das ist mich. You understand what I'm saying? No. Not going to do that. Not going to do that at all. Going to double down on that superior. Or, oh, that's stupid. Why would I need to do that? I don't need to learn how to do that. That's so dumb. And then they start demeaning everything that doesn't make them feel superior. And they don't participate in anything at all. We had a conversation A couple days ago about one of my daughter's clients who's a lawyer, and they hired legal aid, and she negotiated. She wanted 120 as her salary. They wanted to give her 110. They met in the middle at 115. She owes them money because her is not qualified for that job, and she can't even do normal things that legal clerks know how to do, let alone paralegal work. So her job is on the line. She is 35 years old, and guess where she still lives? At home with her parents. So she is the apple of their eye. And she is causing problems at that doggone law firm day in and day out, to the point where the lawyer is now waking up early on the weekends, getting everything caught up because she can't even go file some paperwork. So that's that whole. But she walked in there talking about 120, and she doing about 30,000 worth of work. There you have it in a nutshell. So again, it started in childhood, and then and instead of saying, I don't know what I don't know, and don't ask questions, you just double down and say, well, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And to quote my mother, sounds like a personal problem to me. So they're not going to do it. They're going to stand on their superiority complex and not change and then doggone thing. The other thing is mental health conditions. So people with mental health conditions may also develop a superiority complex because they may have difficulty coping and becoming deeply discouraged. So this can turn and cause them to develop feelings of inferiority and feel that they need to overcompensate. So my daughter is here. She has ADHD and ADD. She might chime in. It's okay if she doesn't, one way or another. So because of your mental health issues, you will feel inferior. So then you will develop a superiority complex to overcompensate for your inferiority. And that's no bueno either. Okay? That's no good either. So at this point, you might be thinking, well, is a person that has a superiority complex a narcissist? According to the research, and again, this is my first entrance into this part of complexes, and so there it isn't narcissism, and it comes close. Okay, here's why. So some narcissists are insecure and have a superiority complex, but other narcissists who genuinely believe in their own superiority don't believe that they're not superior. So that's why it's not narcissism, because narcissists believe it's all about me. There is no other person at all. So a narcissist is a person who has excessive interest or admiration in themselves. It is me, 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 and then the rest of y'all. And so they lack empathy. They have a very much strong sense of entitlement. They have an excessive need for admiration. So they're going to have a lot of underlings around them that's like, yes, we love you. Oh, you're so awesome, so awesome. Yes, yes, yes. And they take advantage of others to achieve their own goals, and they have an exaggerated sense of self. Nobody before me has ever done it before. Nobody, I'm it. I did it better than everybody else. There was them. My whole Wi-Fi and data went out for a second, and I'm supposed to be chiming in on. I'm telling her she need a new phone, y'all. We call her El Chivo. She's like, no. Every time I turn around, my dad, I'm like, okay. I believe Nola needs a new phone, but we're going to leave that to her. It's the win. And every time she comes back, we are 2 rooms from each other, sitting on the same Wi-Fi system. Whenever the wind blows, it slows. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, mark this as a point. I believe my birthday is May 10th. I believe by May 10th, Nola will have a new phone, but we're going to see. She has a very durable phone. It was engulfed in water and everything else. So that phone is super strong. She's dropping it. It's this strong, super strong case, and they don't make it anymore. I don't think it's a OnePlus. I think that's what it is. So, but we'll see. The jury is out on that. Welcome back, Nola. If you'd like to chime in as a person with mental health conditions, overcompensating for the inferiority complex of having the mental health, so you developed. Okay, got it, sweetie. So what happens when I'm not going live? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to let this play out behind the scenes. Roger that. I'm overriding the system. Okay. And your phone is 4 years old. But okay. All right. So narcissism, as we have our family moments. Okay, she told me the win. And so as we can see, my child is definitely her own person. So it's not like daughter, daughter is making her daughter do all these other things. Let's agree to disagree. May 10th, ladies and gentlemen, May 10th. Okay, so again, a narcissist is all of that, and they have an exaggerated sense of importance and really don't really have a lot of skills. I have not come across a skilled narcissist other than to manipulate people to get what they want. I've never been in awe and say, you know what? But see, you're a good narcissist because I understand why you came and sucked all of the energy out of the room and drained everybody because it was worth it. Because look what you produced. Go you. It hasn't happened yet. So how do you cope with a superiority complex? Okay, cool. I'm glad you asked. So you avoid exaggerating. It's really simple. And what principles of real leadership do you use to avoid exaggerating? Be honest. It's very difficult for unaccountable people to be honest. It's like they would rather eat live insects than to be honest. They would definitely just like be honest. Oh no, I'm not putting my business out in the street. I'm not about to tell. I don't know you like that. Why would I tell you all my stuff? Be honest. I'm not saying pour your soul out, but tell the truth. Tell the truth. You stealing my thunder. I'm coming to that one on the next one. That's on learn to accept imperfections. Be technically competent. So learn how to do it. Don't skip the line and leave the skills behind. Become technically competent. In this day and age, it's a microwave system. Everybody's supposed to already know. Back in the day, you had a little bit more time to learn how to do something. Now you just got to know or fake like you know. No, I'm asking a question. I thank you for that. I do appreciate that. But I'm saying, I said I'm glad you asked. It was rhetorical. So be technically competent. Be technically competent. That's how you can avoid exaggerating. You don't have to exaggerate when the results are true. My daughter and I have done over 2,100 projects in the last 4 years. That's not exaggeration. It's factually based, and you can back it up. And she has over 1,000 5-star reviews. She got 5-star reviews on Yelp. You can go see that. That's not something that you can fudge. Because if people in this day and age, somebody don't like something, oh, they're going to say it. For real, for real. And has never asked for one review ever. Not one time. We've never left and said, hey, can you give us a 5-star review? Not one time. Not at all. So be technically competent. Communicate effectively. When you can communicate effectively, then you don't have to exaggerate. You can say what actually took place. You can say what your skills are, and people will get it. And as I mentioned yesterday, I'm from the hood. So any experience that I have in life or anything is based upon my start point. I'm not exaggerating what I did to make it seem like it's better because my starting point was a shit show. It was really bad. It was. When you got to have a rat trap and a mouse trap under your bathtub, you got to keep spraying. When you leave your cousin's house and you come back home, your mom is in the yard shaking out your clothes to make sure you ain't got no roaches in your bag. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. So where I am currently is amazing because I never would have made it. I shouldn't be where I am right now based upon where I started. So I can communicate that that's where I was and here's where I am now. And that's okay. And anybody who has an issue with that don't need to be in my life. I'm not doing these things to impress you. I'm doing these things to see what's possible for me. And then the last one is establish trust and be trustworthy. When you trust people, you do not have to exaggerate. When you trust them, you don't have to overinflate your value to make it bigger than it is. When you do the work day in and day out, we did that yesterday where everybody, I told you, take 300, your age and multiply it by 365. And you saw how many thousands of days that you have been on earth. So you have had time. So anybody that is lying about what they've done means that they've wasted their individual days and they don't want to look bad. But the truth is the truth. You got to get honest because if you wasted 10,000, 15,000, 18,000, whatever days, that's on you, boo-boo. But you got some more coming. And just let the rest of them be the best of them. But do not do that. Establish trust and be trustworthy. It is key. And that's why I don't come on these lives like, oh, and look at my neighborhood. I showed y'all my house one time. And if you wasn't on that live, you missed it. And it's a regular house in the suburbs of Las Vegas. That's it. It's like, why do I have to show you all this stuff? Y'all don't live here and you probably won't ever come to Las Vegas. So what's the point? Look at all my stuff. Look at, did you get it to show people or did you get it for you? Who is it for? It doesn't make any sense. So I have cried on lives. I have gotten mad. I have went off. I have laid it all on the table. My daughter and I just had an exchange about her phone because that's life. That's the truth. And I'm not about to try to look like, make it seem like it's something that is not. We done been to influencers' houses. And what and when my daughter has showed me them online, I'm like, that who is that? Who is that? That's who, how, what? We done been to celebrity houses. I'm like, the hell? Talk about Wish and Shin. I'm like, they got a hell of a team. They got a hell of a team because yeah, people do come to Vegas. I'm saying people ain't coming to our house. If you got an option to go to the strip and our house, you gonna pick the strip. Why the hell? We don't even have a TV or a stereo. Like, why is you coming here? Hey, you want some polar seltzer? I got some some black organic peach tea drink from Trader Joe's. Would you like some almonds? Here, I got some orange slices. Here, no one's gonna want that. Trust me, stay on the strip. You better off over there. You go get a bet. You gonna have fun. We don't even have a gaming system. Like, no, at all. We got nice weather. We got a nice walking trails. You know what I'm saying? A view of a golf course. It's calm. So if you want some peace, well, thank you very much for that, Kevin. Do I need to keep crying or? I understand what you're saying. Right. So it happens. Stick around long enough, you'll see all kind of things. I've had a hot flash, several hot flashes on here and let y'all know that it was happening because that's life too. Okay. All right. So don't exaggerate. Stop it. It's not worth it. And then learn to accept imperfections. I told y'all, I ain't filling these damn eyebrows back in. Okay. My nostrils flare when I talk. I got big chiclet teeth. Okay, I'm not putting acrylic nails on anymore because I use my phone too much. I help my daughter with her business, and it just isn't something that I want to do anymore. So learn to accept your imperfections. How do you do that? You be likable. You be likable. And this isn't do anything for likes. No, that's not that. It's be your genuine self. I use humor. I will crack a joke. I will be transparent 100%, and I'm 100% myself. If y'all met me in person, this is what you'll see. The energy might be a little bit strong. You'll be like, whoa. But other than that, this is who I am. 100% who I am. So be likable. And when you're yourself, people that resonate with you are going to like you. Laura Bush, President Bush, I read her book many years ago, a couple years ago, and she said it's the 50% rule. 50% of the people are going to like you and 50% aren't. So don't waste your time on the 50% who don't. Spend 100% of your time on the 50% of the people who do. And that's what's going to happen. You do not have to, everybody doesn't have to like you. Treat people with dignity and respect, yes, but everybody doesn't have to like you. I don't drink, I don't party, I'm a social introvert, and if you like that and you're sanguine, then you might not like me. You'd be like, man, she's so boring. All she's doing is talk about stuff. She just be talking all the time. Like, when you gonna have some fun? When you gonna, let's go to the club and turn up? My go to the club and turn up years is behind me. I don't have Meg knees. I got Luke Campbell knees. I already shake that, make that booty pop. If I do that, my knees gonna drop. So, it's at home for me. But I am likable for the people who like me. Next is help others, as Nola mentioned. Help others. When you are helping others, you're not focused on imperfections. When we are at appointments and I'm cutting boxes, I'm not like, oh my goodness, is my wig straight? I mean, my clothes are dirty. I cut my hand the other day. That was kind of brutal, so I had to go administer first aid. So if you're helping somebody, you're not worried about what it looks like. You're not worried about what it looks like at all. You are focused on, let me help this person. And you're not helping the helpless. You're helping people in their time of need. So what I ask my daughter all the time in appointments, instead of saying, do you need help? I say, do you need support? Because support is different than help. So help is like one-offs. Let me help you. Oh, you need help with packages in the door. But people that become helpless, you can't help them because they're just going to stay in their helpless state. So this is somebody who needs, hey, you fell down, let me help you up. It's temporary and it's happening sporadically. So you can support people's growth and development, which is what I'm doing with you this morning. But that helpless victim mentality, we won't do that. Not at all. So helping someone, and if it's long term, then it turns into support. because that person is growing and improving. But if not, we have a client whose husband is wheelchair bound and he cooks dinner. He is out there. We needed to do something with the credenza. He has tools. He will put stuff in there and everything else. So we are supporting them. We put ring cameras at their house and did some other stuff. But at no point is he helpless and we're just helping him because he's helpless. That's not how that goes at all. So hopefully you understand the difference. Learn to accept imperfections. So be likable, help others, grow continually. These are all principles of real leadership. Keep growing, and keep going. Keep growing. Because if you're growing, you're not worried about what it looks like. You can't, because growth ain't pretty. Growth is kind of hideous until it's here. If you think about planting and harvesting, and I don't know a lot about farming, I know you got to put some manure down. It stinks for a while, ain't nothing showing up, and then here comes all this amazing harvest. So the growth process isn't pretty, it isn't sexy. The last thing it is perfect. And then finally, challenge yourself. When you are challenging yourself, you are not concerned about perfection. If you are working out, if you are building something, if you are reading, there's nothing, I'm going to read my book and I'm going to be so perfect. Watch me read my book today. Yes. Read. Look at me. You can't. I highlight. I got reading glasses on. I got my red pen. I have my glasses. I'm dog-earing things and everything else. Ain't nobody got time. Perfection is an illusion. And what we say in 12 steps is progress, not perfection. It is progress. So if you are constantly growing and constantly progressing, you don't have time to stop and be perfect. You can't. It's impossible. And that's why I have my little t-shirts on, my same Walmart pants and everything else, because y'all don't really care what I look like right now. Did you get what you need so you can go off and succeed? But did she have her eyebrows filled in? When she was talking about hijacking amygdala, see, I couldn't listen to her because she don't wear eyelashes. So no, I know she talking something about the frontal lobe, but see, because she didn't. But why she got regular nails? Like, what's up with that? And then she be putting Carmex on. Like, I can't listen to her because I can't look at her right now because her shirt is crooked. And she always got that same headband. No. So if you focused on, that's why I started using Snapchat lenses, and I was happy that we switched to the phone, because when I first started on YouTube and they told me I had to dress up, I can't wear the same thing, I got to be sitting at a desk, I got to have makeup on. I was like, I ain't doing this. This too much. I'm just trying to get a message out. I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Do y'all want me to spend 2 hours putting on makeup or 2 hours preparing to give you some information? Because I can't do both, and I ain't about to do both. Not about to happen. I got 10,600 some YouTube videos because I'm not putting all that on. And I'm not saying for people who wear makeup or anything else, cool, but I'm an educator. So I don't have time for trying to be perfect when I need to get this message to you. I'm more concerned with your neural pathways being created than if you think my makeup is snatched and you like my new frontal that don't have no glue on it. I think I said that part right, because I wear full wigs, so I don't know. So when you're challenging yourself, and that's what I'm doing on a daily basis, I don't have time for it to be perfect. Best and perfect are not the same thing. Now, the last one is don't make comparison. It's you versus you. Every time I ask you a poll question, I ask you a poll question about you. I ain't never asked you a poll question about a celebrity. Ain't never happened. And Linda, you've been around for a while. Ain't never said, well, what do you think about such and such new movie? What you think about such and such new album that dropped? What you think about this new purse line, this new wig line that such and such got? I don't care. I don't care, because personal accountability means it's about you. It's personal. So why would I ask you a question about somebody else when you got to work on you, fix you first, and then become your best? No, I'm not. Absolutely. I'm not asking you a question about somebody else unless you say you know them. And if we're in person, I'm going to say, oh, well, when I met that person, I did not meet that person. But I've never been, and I grew up in a household where my mother came home and watched TMZ and Entertainment Tonight and all that. They are so starstruck. That's probably why I'm like, whatevs. So it's you versus you. One of the 74 principles of real leadership is to meet your potential. And meet your potential is not a one-time thing. It's I had the potential to become Dr. Donna. I had the potential to become Captain Thomas. I had the potential to become somebody that's studying the brain. So it is more than one time. It's not this, they had so much potential. They had so much, you heard about, man, they messed up, now they going to jail, they had so much potential. They messed up their whole, it's not one time. It's not one potential. It is multiple in multiple areas of your life. You can have more than one potential. You're reaching this goal. That's why it's be the best over here. Now be the best over there. Be the best. My daughter can put furniture together. Yes, whew, y'all, yesterday we had a pre-existing client. We love them to death. And we had to put a vinyl sign in their bathroom because they're from New York across double vanities. And it was, I don't know, 10 feet up in the air, over the counter, over the double sinks. And the vinyl sign people, instead of putting a back on it, had every letter and everything cut out. And I think the thing was 50 something, it was of a Subway, and it was 50 something inches long up in the air over the sink. And we had to line it up, and then once we peeled it off, the adhesive on the front to get it off was stronger than the adhesive on the back. And I thought to myself, yeah, challenge yourself, and this was at the end of a 4-hour appointment. So yeah. Anyway, meet your potential. So we got potential, 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 potential to do grand things. The next thing is take risk, and then the final thing is quitters never win. So you can't take a risk and compare yourself at the same time. So we took risk yesterday. She had to put deadbolt locks on doors, hang shelves, put a Nordley headboard back up, and they are a movie family. So their living room is set up like a movie and everything. And so the mom wanted this flying monkey in the corner. So we're looking for the stud and the joust in the ceiling. So we never have normal things. Last week we had to go, they have pet rats, and so we had to build a whole rat house for the rats and new dog kennels for their dogs. So it's never something normal with them. Not at all. We had very rare occasions. Put together a shed in August. It was like 110 outside. It was a metal shed. That thing took like 6 hours because it had to be 300 screws. So anyway, my point is, you can't compare when you're challenging yourself and you're taking risks and you're meeting your potential, and you can't quit. So if you're focused on not quitting, then you're not focusing on comparing. You can't do that. And again, the only time you are comparing is when you are doing the exact same thing, a chili cook-off. You understand? If you are running in a track meet, if you are having a quilting contest, a poetry contest, spoken word, golfing, when everybody is doing the exact same thing. So that's why the Grammys and the Oscars and all of these things have to be, it's best country album, it's best animated film, it's best comedy. So you don't have best picture is the whole thing, but then you have best comedy, best supporting actress, best supporting actor, because you're comparing like to like. That's how it goes, okay? So no comparison. The only comparison is you today versus you yesterday, you today versus you last year, you today versus you 5 years ago, and what you should see is improvement. Now, if you don't see improvement, that means you have superiority complex. And that means that you feel inferior. So you're going to try to make yourself feel superior to someone else. So you could be 55 years old saying, yeah, these little 25-year-olds don't know nothing about this. I know, because see, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. You got them by 30 years. You got them by thousands and thousands and thousands of days. You better know better. You better know how to do everything better. If you had a 30-year head start, the hell is you comparing? You can say when I was 25, but then you got to have like items. So if you were 25 and you already married with 2 children, and someone else is 25 now and they're not married and they have a job, you can't even compare that. It has to be like versus like. That's what it has to be. So in summary, superiority complex comes in childhood, and it's because you were catered to and you put a nice little bubble around yourself, and now you're in the world and you don't want to change and grow and develop. And so you just sit in your small little big fish in small pond, and you make it seem like you're better than everybody else. And no one is better than anybody else, to include billionaires and celebrities and everybody else. Why do you say that, Dr. Donna? Because COVID sent us all to the house. They didn't say if you got $1 billion, you get to come outside. They said take your ass home too and put a mask on, okay? And don't sneeze on people, and take some vitamins, okay? Steer clear, 6 feet distance. Everybody had the 6 feet distance. Everybody had to do it. It wasn't all of the royalty, everybody. They all had to take it to the house, to the palace, to the castle, to the mansion, to whatever, to the one-room studio. Take your ass home, essential workers. And now, 5 years later, everybody forgot about the essential workers, and now we back out here, not we, but in general, back idolizing and hero worshiping and all that other stuff, and you done totally forgot who helped us and kept us going the entire time. The truck drivers, the supply chain, the teachers had to go home and figure out how to do remote teaching and all this other stuff. And somehow we forgot about all that. Nobody remembers that. And now it's just like, I gotta wait for the doctor's appointment. I gotta do this. Then stand in line. They need some cashiers. They need better help. And what's going on? And where my stuff at? No, just totally forgot about what's taking place. Okay, so we's all equal. We are all equal, and that means we all have a brain. And for those of us who have cognition, you need to use it. You need to use it every day. And this is a perfect opportunity for you to start using your brain because we're about to do our cognitive activities. But before I do that, do you have any questions about superiority complex at all? And remember dot, dot, dot if you do, so I know that you're thinking. Do, do, do. Okay, I don't see any dot, dot, dots. I'm going, okay. You actually taught kindergarten online. So see, Regina, that probably was hard as all get out. You can't get kindergartners to pay attention in class. So we still aren't I'm still thanking our essential workers. And I've told y'all this story before. Anytime somebody gives us cash, I give it to my daughter, but if they force me to take the tip, I go, okay, thank you. And I end up giving the money to somebody else. I will be somewhere, just give people tips that don't, the cart return people in the parking lot. Here you go. Here's some money. Here. People that you wouldn't think. We got smog check. Give them a tip. All that. So what I'm saying is, thank the essential workers now too, because they're still essential. They're still behind. They're the steel beams in the house, in the building. That's the studs that's holding everything up. And now, yeah, it was no joke. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So it's the everyday heroes that matter the most. Like I said, I've been in a room with a bunch of people that you'd be like, oh my God. Anyway, yeah. It really is no big deal. People are people. And that's what my daughter has now found out in her business, that people are people. They definitely are. And the more money they have, we've met some nice, wealthy people, but the more money they have, the more superiority complex that they have. The person that was on the live yesterday that just kept interrupting it to the point where Kevin had to say, slow your roll, bro. Hold all your questions until the end. And then the person couldn't stay because I want it now. I got money, so you're going to do what I want you to do. No, I'm not. I didn't stop dating many a wealthy man that thought they owned Dr. Donna. They FA'd FO when that wasn't even a thing. I digress. Okay, so here we are. Get ready for your math. Everybody say math. Say math. Say somebody, anybody, scream math. Woo, woo, woo. Pimp this in the house, baby. Order of operations. Here we come. Here we come. Let's do this. What? Okay. We only have one math problem today because I knew time was going to be of the essence. But here it is. It is, open parenthesis, 5 to the second power minus 7, close parenthesis, divided by, open parenthesis, 4 to the second power plus 2, close parenthesis. Yes. Once again, open parenthesis, 5 to the second power minus 7, close parenthesis, divided by, open parenthesis, 4 to the second power plus 2, close parenthesis. You have 1 minute on the clock. "17 seconds has passed. "30 seconds has passed. If you hear that in the background, we do believe that our neighbors next door has a Airbnb, and because sometimes the pets are there and sometimes they're not. So there's 2 dogs conversing this morning. 45 seconds. 54 seconds. Okay. And the answer is 1. You do 25 to the second power minus 7 is 25 minus 7. 4 to the second power plus 2. You end up with 25 minus 7, 16 plus 2. You got 18 on both sides. And the answer is 1. All right, get ready for your anagrams. Are you ready for your anagrams? Woo! Anagrams! Yeah, say anagrams. Okay. So we have two different anagrams for today. We got a 5-letter anagram and a 4-letter anagram. So you're going to get 1 minute for the 5-letter anagram, and you're going to get 45 seconds for the 4-letter anagram. First anagram up for today is Earth. E-A-R-T-H. E-A-R-T-H. Earth. 1 minute on the clock starting now. "15 seconds has passed. "30 seconds has passed." I see your answer, Lola, and both of them. 40 seconds has passed. 50 seconds has passed. 3, 2, 1, time. Okay, so the anagram was Earth, and you all have heart, and the other option is hater. So Earth, heart, and hater. The next one you will have, and you know what? Y'all got that one pretty quick. I'm going ahead and challenge y'all. You get 4 letters, you're going to get 30 seconds. The word is kale. K-A-L-E. Kale. Hater. And you said wrath. I don't know, Virginia, you're going to have to look that one up. But right now it's kale. K-A-L-E. K-A-L-E. And 30 seconds on the clock. Wraith, probably. I'm on both my devices are tied up right now. And I hate my computer, so. 15 seconds on the clock. And stop. 30 seconds. Okay. You have lake and leak. That is correct. Lake and leak. Lake and leak. Okay. Now we have our riddle. Time for the riddle. It's time for the riddle maker. It's time for the riddle maker. It's time for the riddle maker. All right. We only have one riddle today, and you're going to have 30 seconds to solve it. And it is, what runs around a backyard yet never moves? What runs, cool. Let me write that down. What runs around a backyard yet never moves? 30 seconds on the clock starting now. "17 seconds. And stop. All right. That is correct. The fence and sprinklers. Got it. So the answer I have is fence, but I can see how you said sprinklers, Nola. Do. Okay. We're getting ready to do the results of the poll question and then get the word of the day and get on out of here. I got to end the poll. I'm about to look at the answers without showing y'all the answers. Okay, be honest. Do you respect yourself? Yes, 63%. No, 36%. And you need to provide your explanation. Means blossoming or ripening early in the season. Thank you. So now we got two words of the day for today. So explain your answer. So self-respect. One of the 74 principles of real leadership is to treat people with dignity and respect. And this came about from one of the students when you have, you got to do your self-reflection time. I think it's, dang it, on the PA challenge, I can't, let me look which PA challenge it actually is. So the point is this: you teach others how to treat you. So if you don't respect yourself, then no one else will respect you either. That's how that goes. So if you don't respect yourself, then don't expect anybody else to respect you either. Now, back in the day, I grew up in the 70s and 80s and the 90s, and so we was talking about, man, you dissing me, you can't be disrespecting me and disrespecting me. That's not the definition that I'm talking about. Because street respect is different than day-to-day respect. It's totally different. You know, heavy is the head, wears the crown. All of that nonsense. So let me see which one it was. Yes. So it is respect, because borrowed is 20. So it actually is a PA for today, and it talks about respect in a 2-minute exercise on that. And the reason why you have to respect you is because when you value who you are, then you're not going to allow other people to devalue who you are. If you don't value who you are and treat yourself with dignity and respect. So how do you treat yourself with dignity and respect? First of all, your body is a temple. Second of all, growing and challenging yourself and doing things that work best for you are all respectful. So I don't drink alcohol because I come from a long line of alcoholics and druggies. I go to bed on time. I wake up on time. I have altered my diet because I'm in my 50s and I want to be healthy in my 60s. So there are things that I'm just not going to do. I'm not going to overeat and be overweight. When we moved here 14 years ago, I quit my corporate job. So I was eating a little bit too much. I'm a 0 in the spring, summer, and a 2 in the fall, winter. And I had a little bit of a muffin top. And Nola just reminded me this the other day. I said, oh, we cutting all this stuff out. I'm like, my twos are too tight. I'm not going to be overweight because I have been bigger than I would like when I was in the military, my freshman 20. And I don't like how it feels on me. I'm not nimble. I can't move around and do the things that I need to do. So there are just things that I'm not going to do. I'm not going to tell myself I ain't shit. I'm not about to do any of those things. So if it's not going to be for my best interest, then I have a saying, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I say that is I'm not doing that, and no are intertwined in who I am. I'm not about to let people treat me any kind of way. People who have done it have found out that that doesn't bode well for them for their future. So it's not going to happen. And even in my marriage, there was a certain level of things that was not going to take place, even with him being the person that he was. Like, nah, bro, we not. I told him, you put your hands on me, you cheat on me, we done. Cause you put your hands on me, and we're gonna be saying, well, he looks natural. Yeah, they really did a good job for him. Where are they? Where's the service? Because I was gun toted back then. Like, nah, that's not gonna bode well for you. So the point is, when you respect yourself, and that's your definition of respect, it's harder for other people to disrespect you. Now, what has everyone said? No, you said yes, because I do. I exhibit self-respecting behavior, and that is correct, 100%. I do because if I don't, nobody else will. That is correct. And Sanchel, yes, I eat well, take care of my body, mind, and spirit. Only keep good vibes close, and I take my dreams seriously. Thank you for that, Regina. Absolutely, I have been able to love, embrace, and honor and treat myself with dignity. And then Linda, I value my contributions and require others to be aware of how they treat me. If it doesn't align with the energy and frequency that is positive, dignifies, and loving it, I check it. Okay, great. So that is what is important. Now, the reason why that is important is because holding yourself personally accountable is a sign of respect. It is. And when you hold others personally accountable, that's another sign of respect. So when you hold someone personally accountable, it's not You better listen to me and do what I say. If someone is talking about somebody behind their back and you say, hey, don't talk about Regina, she not here. If you're not going to say it to Regina's face, zip it. Now, if you're having a conversation with someone, because I used to not have a lot of the tact was tactless as can be, and you want to have a conversation to just get the thoughts right so you can go have the conversation with the person that you need to have the conversation with. That's different. But talking about smiling in your face all the time and want to take your place, backstabbers, no. If you're not going to say it to their face, don't say it. If you're not going to do that, if someone says, "Hey, I'm working on losing 20 pounds," and you see them with a donut, I thought you said you was working on losing 20 pounds. Ain't no diet. What you on a donut diet? If they say I ain't drinking no more, and then next thing you know, you at dinner and they drinking red wine, I thought you said you wasn't drinking no more. Somebody tell you they writing a book. Hey, where's chapter 1 at? Where's chapter 1 at? So it's for everything. I'm going to start working more with my employees, and you go on vacation for a month. I thought you said you was about to be undercover boss and working with your employees for a month. I thought you said you was getting promoted at work. What did you do that was extra at work? So holding them accountable is so that they can become their best. That's what that is for. It's not you better do exactly what I'm saying or else we're going to have a problem. It's no. Everybody around me is a bad mofo. And that's also with superiority complex. Nobody can be the star but them. So they have a bunch of underlings around them, and then it's them. It's the me show. Don't talk to anybody else because it's me. But if you think about the Avengers or anybody else, Marvel characters, they all come together. They all got unique talents and they do their thing. And your light can shine and my light can shine, and we can just shine bright like a diamond, and we're not interfering with anybody else's anything. Because when you're personally accountable and treating yourself with respect, you're you. So you're the only person, you're the you is you that you will ever be. So you're not going to be doing what the other person is doing, and there is no competition until you're all doing the exact same thing. And after that, you go back to doing what you were doing. So holding yourself personally accountable is respect. And holding others personally accountable is respect too, because the objective is we need to be able to get to our best. And if we're disrespecting each other, best is not on the agenda. A house divided cannot stand. So respect is discipline. Respect is keeping your word and doing what you said you were going to do, and challenging yourself and growing forward and taking risk and attacking fear and staying in your frontal lobe and not hijacking amygdalas and all of that. That's so we can all coexist in this world and do what we came here to do without harming, do no harm to anybody else. So that's why respect is so important. If you like, and when you're younger, you like your friends, but then you're so disrespectful to each other. Like, that's not how friendship works. I respect you as another human being, so let's go ahead and do this. And it's not about not having conflict. Handle conflict when it occurs is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, because if you're growing and changing, conflict is a part of that. And that's when you sit down respectfully, handle the conflict, strive for win-win, collaborate, and move on. That's what makes personal accountability so phenomenal, is that it teaches adults how to interact with each other regardless of our differences. That doesn't matter. We all need to coexist and make the world a better place until it's best. And it can't happen if you don't have self-respect. It starts with self-respect, and then you can treat other people with dignity and respect. If you don't respect yourself, you're not going to respect anybody else. If you don't treat yourself with dignity and have dignity, then it's not going to happen for anybody else. So that's why personal accountability is so important as an adult, because I'm teaching you the magnificence of your brain, how to use it, because it did come with an owner's manual. And now you know neurologically why you're doing something. If you start fight, flight, and freezing, appeasing, you're like, hold up, somebody trying to hijack my amygdala. What's going on? Is it a real saber-tooth tiger, or is this a false positive? And now you can change the situation. And now, if you do have conflict, you get out of the amygdala, you go to the frontal lobe, and you use the principle of real leadership, which is handle conflict when it occurs, which means you're going to have to listen, you're going to have to ask questions, and you're going to have to collaborate to strive for win-win. These are principles that are human. They have nothing to do with anything else that will divide you. It unites you. So that's why it's so important to learn how to use your brain, start holding yourself and others personally accountable, and implement the 74 principles of real leadership, because it's going to solve a lot of problems. Everybody's going to be focused on them. Your personality is located in your frontal lobe, so you're not going to be trying to compete with people on things that's not even a competable thing to compete on. It's not going to happen. It's not going to take place. So hopefully you all understand the importance of using your brain, understanding the functionality, how it relates to personal accountability and the 74 principles of real leadership, so you can start changing in the communities in which you reside. I can't be everywhere, but y'all are where I'm not. And that's the pay it forward component of this. I'm gonna fix my neighborhood. We gonna work on Las Vegas, Nevada, and that. Y'all work on y'all city, state, and your region, and your part of the world, and the country and continent in which you reside. And that's how we get to 6.8 billion people. That being said, two more things. If you got to go, I understand. Word of the day. Today's word of the day is value, and value is the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. So it is the worth or usefulness of something. Value. So you're going to use the word of the day 5 or more times today, and then you're going to pick the number one thing about yourself that you value, and tomorrow you're going to tell us what that is. Got it? So it's value, the importance or worth or usefulness of something. Use the word in your conversations today 5 or more times, and then you're going to pick the one thing in the world the one thing about yourself that you value the most. The final thing is the follow up from yesterday. So yesterday, one of your 5 big things in your life that you thought were permanent, but you found out that it was temporary. So the word for yesterday was temporary. So what is one thing in your life, because you're supposed to do 5 yesterday, what is one thing that you thought was permanent in your life and then you realized that it was temporary? And if you are typing, it's ... So Linda, you thought your health was temporary, permanent, and now you know that it was temporary. You too, Regina. Well, I can't clear this out. Business challenges. Yes. Kevin, you said your first marriage. No, you said business challenges. Yes, because I didn't prioritize protecting it like I could have. Okay, got it. I understand that. I thought the military. I thought I was going to do my 20 and maybe even 30. I definitely thought I was going to be Colonel Thomas, potentially General Thomas. And yeah, 5.5 years in, I was like, yeah, I can't do this. Nope. Where is the paperwork to get out of here? To sign right here? Okay, cool, got it. So yeah, for me, I thought I was gonna do 20. I was hell bent on doing 20 and realized this is not for me. This is nah, could not do it. It was so boring. It was so boring when it was a lot of downtime. A lot of downtime. No matter how much training and things I went to, it was not. I mean, I was able to get a master's degree and do a bunch of training and everything else in 5.5 years, and still bored out my freaking mind, 100%. So nope, wasn't for me. I need a challenge. I need to be learning, growing, and developing. Okay, what did you learn today? And then we can get out of there. We can get out of here. Oh, I have to put my time. I close this every day, and I need to put my time. And if you're thinking ... What did you learn today? I learned that a narcissist is not somebody that has a superiority complex. And personally, because I hear people call people narcissists and all of that, and I think we give them too much attention. I think if we stop paying attention to them and stop calling them a narcissist, that would be like the greatest flex ever. If they do some narcissistic stuff and just ignore them. Like, So anyway, what was y'all saying? Ooh, because if they need admiration and everything else, just shut it down. Like, just starve them to death. Don't feed into it at all. Don't talk about them. Don't call them by name. Nothing. All the stuff that they need to feel good. Just don't do it. It'll stop. It will stop. PMP, the sandwich approach. Yes. Very effective when giving someone evaluation. And we know with negativity bias, the reason why you do sandwich it that way is because you can say 1,000 good things and one negative thing, and because of negativity bias, you're going to sit on that one thing. How to pay attention to disruptive behavior that is rooted in insecurities. Okay, cool. And I learned about inferiority complex and superiority complex. And the other thing is that some people can have both. Some research said you can have a inferiority complex as well as superiority complex depending on what's happening. And then some of the research says it's impossible. I think it's probable. I do believe my sibling has both depending on what's taking place. But now that you know which one it is, you can look at people's behaviors, listen to what they do basically, and understand that this is what's happening. The final thing that I will say before we get out of here is this. Now that you are learning how to use this amazing resource that is your brain, what should be taking place for you neurologically is that you have a calmer existence in day-to-day life, because now you're creating neurogenesis, which is new neural pathways in your brain, to holding yourself personally accountable, but also to having a personal relationship with yourself and best. And when you're focused on that, these other things seem trivial and temporary. So they don't have this heightened sense of amygdala hijacking that they once did. That's the objective. And now it's contagious. And so you're walking around with this oxytocin instead of passing out dopamine and serotonin and all these other negative hormones that are just making people give it to me and give it to me. Give it to me. You ain't never seen nobody say, hey, man, you got some of that oxytocin. Yeah, you got some of that love hormone. I just want some peace, man. Can I get 3? You know how nobody's really saying that. You know, I just want some peace. Hey, they don't have a peace pill. They do. It's called oxytocin, but it happens in the frontal lobe. It's a attraction to it. It's energetically this thing that you want. That's why people sit on my lives and they don't comment, but they like, I just want to stay. I don't know. I'm scared to say something, but I like being here. Well, that's not enough, because you too can produce your own oxytocin for yourself. I'm just a gardener showing you how to plant seeds, basically. No, I'm not. I'm city. I have no idea how to. Don't take gardening advice from me. Your shit will die. Not my thing at all. The point is that your brain, my pleasure, Lola, your brain should be changing. Yes, the most important relationship that you will ever have in this world, in this life, is the one that you have with yourself. And this is giving you permission, time and space to do that. Because if you don't have enough you for you, then you don't have enough you for anybody. So it's okay to put you first and to work on learning how to use that gray matter. Because once you learn how to use it, now you can teach the other people around you to do the same. So I thank you for taking time out of your lifetime that you will never ever get back again to pour into yourself so that you can go forth and be your best that you can possibly be. Remember what your assignment is to use the word value 5 or more times a day, and come back tomorrow if you are available, ready to assess what is the number one thing that you value most about yourself. I will be back tomorrow, God willing, higher power in the universe, same time, same place, one of my other brain t-shirts. You all go off and have a sensational Saturday. Take care. Bye-bye. Ouch.